Hello and welcome to my channel, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. My name is Olivia. Today is Friday, June 17th, and I am back for my stitching update. It has been 2 weeks since my last one, so I hope you've all been well. You've been stitching and making and creating all of the things. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. This is a video podcast where I typically talk about my cross stitching as well as my quilting. However, if quilting is not something that you're interested in seeing or hearing, I show it a little bit later on in the video and I let you know in plenty of time that they'll be making their appearance, so that way you can go on to the next Flosstube video. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So how have you guys all been? Hope you've gotten lots of stitching done over these past 2 weeks. It's hard to imagine, but another 2 weeks has flown by once again. Right now we are officially on summer vacation. Allison has been home for a week and Ethan's last day of school was yesterday. So in the fall, Allison will be a senior in college and Ethan will be a junior in high school, which I still cannot believe. Whenever I think about them as being little kids. Allison's going to be 21 in August. She's an adult, and Ethan's not that far behind. So it just really is, surreal to me to think of them as being, one nearly done with college, turning 21, and the other only has a couple more years of high school, and then he will be done. So it just, sometimes it just doesn't seem like actually possible that they are that age. But so summer vacation has officially started, even though technically we are still a few days away from summer officially starting. Here in my neck of the woods, it has pretty much rained for the 2 weeks since my last video. We had what they termed an atmospheric river that kind of went right over the top of us, and just a couple 100 miles to the south it's like 90-degree weather. So here it's been in the 60s and just rain. So I think next week it's supposed to get nice. I am hoping it will, because I do need to get back out into the flower gardens and do a bunch of deadheading and weeding and all of the things. So I am hoping that what the weather is saying is going to happen and that is that we will actually have some nice weather. So I want to start off the video by saying a big thank you to everybody who took a little bit of time out of their day to watch my previous video. I really appreciate it so very much, and thank you. And also thank you for all of your wonderful comments. I honestly will take a kind word over a negative one any day of the week. So thank you so very much. I really enjoyed reading through all of the comments on my last video. And I honestly, you guys leave me the best comments, and it's always such a bright day or a bright time in my day when I can sit down and just read through all of them. You have no idea how much joy it brings me to read all of your great comments. So thank you so very, very much. I want to say a big thank you to Denise Driscoll, who very generously made a donation to my channel. Thank you so very, very much. It just totally blew me away and definitely was very unexpected and just very greatly appreciated. So thank you so very much, Denise. In today's video, I have a lot to share and show. I'm really excited because I'm going to not only show what I've been working on over the past 2 weeks, but I'm also going to talk about some of my previous finishes. And it's always kind of fun when a holiday changes, the season changes, holiday changes, and you're able to get out your decor. Because it's not like you necessarily forget about the stuff that you've made, but when you open up the box, it's like seeing it for the first time all over again. And I've had a really good time kind of putting stuff out and around and seeing it again, and just having it out. It's just been a lot of fun. There's a couple of things that I did discover when I was going through my box of decor that I will be refinishing. So I'm really excited to get to those over these next 2 weeks as well. But let's get started. So I figured I'll just start off with what I've been working on over the past 2 weeks. And the first one is Blue House Neighborhood by Cherry Hill Stitchery. So I started this on Tuesday, June 14th, which was Flag Day here in the United States. It is a stitch along that I am hosting, and the hashtag is Blue bluehouseneighborhoodsal. I should have probably come up with a more catchy name. I was able to make pretty decent progress, and I absolutely love working on it so very much. So this morning I wasn't able to work on it because I was trying to get ready for the video, but yesterday I left off, and right in here is where the star is going to go. So I'm almost to the halfway point, and it's been so much fun to work on this in the mornings. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count doubloon with the called for threads 1/2, and you're supposed to stitch it 2/2. However, when I was starting it, I had this done and I was done with the flag, and I was over here when I realized that I was using one strand of thread. So I just decided to leave it. I think it looks great. I think the coverage is really good. So I absolutely love working on it. When I get it done, I am going to turn it into a drum, so I cannot wait. Some of you guys have posted pictures, and you made sure to tag me in it so that I am able to follow your progress, and thank you so much. And just thank you to anybody who decided to join along with me. It's so much more fun to stitch with friends. So I love this. Deanna has very generously provided a coupon. So if you go to Cherry Hill Stitchery on Etsy, and you put in the code pumpkinhollow10, all one word, you'll receive 10% off your purchase. So thank you so much to Deanna. Next up, we have Thankful, Grateful, Blessed by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. So I started this one before my previous video. I was able to work on it for 4 days, and I feel really bad because I've been doing a 5-day rotation with everything. And this one should have got 5 days. It only got 4, and it's totally because I had pulled the threads for Autumn at Hawkburn Hollow, and it was literally all I could think about. And I realized that however many stitches I put down on this on that 5th day, I totally would not enjoy it because my heart wanted to work on Autumn at Hawkburn Hollow. So I just decided to give this 4 days and then work on Autumn at Hawkburn Hollow. But here's my progress. So I was able to go in and I finished the lady, and I did start the house. I feel like the colors are not showing up terribly well on this, but when I looked at the picture of the chart, and then I kind of looked around Instagram and Facebook for others who had also stitched this piece, they left the sort of faded border. So I decided to just go with it. I'm hoping that when I go in to frame it, having like a darker color frame might help some of that background show up a little bit better, or not the background, the threads show up a little bit better against the background. But I do love working on this so very much, and I am looking forward to getting back to it again. I do feel a little guilty for stealing a day away from it, but you gotta just work on what makes you happy. So, but I enjoyed working on it quite a bit. I am stitching it on a piece of a 36 count Legacy with various flosses 1/2. And when I say various, it means that I have swapped out some of the threads for what I had in my stash. And when I get it all done, I will share that with everybody. Next up is Christmas Garden by Blackbird Design. So I have been working on this since the beginning of the year. It was my New Year, New Start with Yvette. Yvette has finished hers. And I still have one more 5-day rotation, and then it will be done. I am stitching this in memory of my sister-in-law, and basically when it comes around again in my rotation, which will be over these next 2 weeks, once I finish basically like all of the elements of the sampler, I will be going in and adding all the personalization. So it will be a little tough, I know. So here's my progress, and I think the last time I did my video, I think I was about ready to start this, or I had been working on it for a couple of days. But I was able to So I worked on this section right here. I added the house, which is the house from Our Lasting Friendship. I took out the two motifs that basically were above where the house is at, and then directly on the other side of the birds there was another motif. So both of those I am leaving out because I will be personalizing in that area. So I was able to basically finish my assignment, which was this area in here. I brought down the border. I came all the way across, and then I brought the border down this way. So when I pick it up again, I will add the Christmas garden, finish the border, and then go up in here and add all of the personalization. My sister-in-law's name is going to go right here, and her date of birth and date of death will be here. And then I will add the initials of her parents, her brothers, and her children, and her husband. So such a very beautiful piece. I absolutely love the colors so very much. I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count Dusty Road by Seraphim Fabrics with the Vicki Clayton Silks 1/2. And I get asked this question a lot about the silks that I'm using and the conversion. So if you go on Vicki Clayton's website, which I believe is Hand Dyed Fibers, and I will put a link to it down below, she goes in and does silk packets, and she will do them for various projects. I have some of the ones that I have kitted up that I plan on doing later on. I have it kitted with the Vicki Clayton silks, and it makes it really easy because you don't have to, she does it all for you. So all you do is go in and purchase whatever packet you're interested in purchasing. All of the needed colors are there. She gives you the conversion from whatever it was to her over dyes, and it's just it's so wonderful. I do have to say that working with the floss has been amazing. I have not had one knot in the entire sampler, which is insane because I usually have, let's be honest, I usually have multiple knots no matter what you do. And it's a little weird that this particular one, and I'm assuming it's because of the silk itself, I haven't had any issues. There's been no breakage, no fraying. It stitches up like butter. It's just so nice to work with. I have a couple of projects coming up that I did kit up with the Vicki Clayton silks. I feel like her prices are really reasonable for the amount of thread you get. And I definitely would, if you're curious and you're thinking about maybe trying a project with silk, I definitely would highly recommend. Now, keep in mind, I have never used NPI, I've never used Gloriana, I've never used any of the other ones, so I'm definitely curious about all of that. But this is my first time working with silks, and I can tell you that I really, really enjoyed it. So here is one last look, and when next we meet, she should be done, or really super close, because when I do my next video, which will be July 1st, I think that Thursday is my last day working on it, the last day of the 5 days. So I'm fingers crossed that I will have it done to show in my next video. Definitely very bittersweet, but I am looking forward to getting back to it because again, it is a lot of fun to work on. I really love the colors. They're just so soft, and they really remind me of, like Victorian aged colors. And I just really, really love the whole sampler. I love working on it. And I know that the finished piece will be amazing, and I cannot wait. There is a frame that I have had out in the pit of despair. And I think it'll be perfect for it. And I'm hoping that it'll be the right size. I'm hoping that if it's not the right size, that it's too big and I can then cut it down, because it's sort of like, it kind of looks like old gold with a little bit of bronze, and I think it'll be perfect. So fingers crossed. Okay, so next up is Autumn at Hawkhorn Hollow by Carriage House Samplings, and I am currently working on this block right here. And I have decided to change out a bunch of the colors. There was one color that I haven't really seen too much, and that is, what is the color of the birds? It is DMC 501. And I kind of wanted to pull that color down a little bit because the only other place I saw it was down here in the clothing of the people. And I just thought it would be kind of nice to just pull the color down and sort of have it be a little bit more of it in another spot, if that makes any sense. And here is my progress. So it's starting to get quite a bit big. Pretty soon I'll have to hold it way back here to show it, but I absolutely love how it's coming along. This thing calls to me so very loudly. I think about it quite a lot. I think about getting back to it quite a lot whenever it's not in the rotation. And honestly, if I could get away with it, I would just work on it until it's done. But I know that I like having it in that 5-day rotation because whenever it comes around, I always am looking forward to it again. So because I had stolen a night away from Thankful, Grateful, Blessed, I thought I would do the responsible thing and stitch the whole entire border. So the border is done, and then I basically worked my way up from the bottom up and towards the house because I just love houses. So the house was supposed to be sort of like a country yellow, and I decided to stitch it with the DMC 501 that is with the birds, or that the birds are stitched with. Just trying to pull that color down. Hopefully it will all work out when the whole block is put together. And also I like a sort of like, I like to refer to it as like a colonial teal. I follow a lot of like New England colonial salt box houses and sort of like that decor, and I feel like this particular color is in a lot of those houses. And then they'll either have black or red or white trim. So I decided to go with sort of that burnt red trim for the door and the windows, and then the white porch, and then the colonial teal color. I just absolutely love it. So I'm hoping that all of the elements will work together in the end, because I definitely don't want to have to unpick all of those stitches. But I really, really love it. I think it looks really, really good so far, and I honestly cannot wait to get back to this again. So last night was my last night working on it, and then I don't think it comes in my rotation again until after my next video, I think, because I'm trying to work on some of the other stuff too. We'll see how well it goes, but I definitely am looking forward to getting back to it. I cannot wait, and I cannot wait to get the whole block done just to kind of see what it looks like when it's completed. So with the changing of the holiday / season, I was able to get out some of my previous finishes, and I am really happy to be able to show them in today's video. I've been looking forward to this part of the video for 2 weeks. So the first one is Lady Liberty by With Thy Needle and Thread. This one was a previous finish that last year I was able to refinish it. So previously I had it finished kind of like Priscilla style, where it has the 2 pieces of sticky board, washers, magnets, and then I had a frame that it would go into it using the washers and magnets to attach it. And then I had it finished off with like flowers and bows and things like that. And it was a good finish, but it didn't really fit in with my aesthetic or my personality, really. And after I had finished it that first year, it never came out again. And I felt really bad every time I opened up the drawer. I would see this in there, and I just really wanted to try to find a new way to fully finish her. So I was on Pinterest and kind of looking around at sort of like prim styles, and it led me to an Etsy shop run by April, and it is called Homestead Needleworks, and I believe this board is the Colonial board, but I will make sure to put a link to which one it was down below. Then I basically took it all apart and I laced it onto a piece of mat board. There are 2 pieces of batting underneath it, and then I attached it. And I just love it. I think it looks so good just like this, just very simple and elegant, and I absolutely love it. So that particular piece, I do not remember what linen I used. I do remember that I think it was a blue linen, and then I tea coffee dyed it with, which turned it kind of the greenish brown. Of course, in the viewfinder, it's looking more of like a, I mean, I can definitely see like the blue, but in person, it's more of like a greenish brown. I used DMC threads. I don't remember what it was that I used. I did stitch it 2/2. And I don't remember if it was supposed to be done on a 32 or a 36, but I definitely can see that I did it 2/2. Next up is Hats Off to Uncle Sam. So I did show this one last year. This is the hat that you make. However, the stitch piece isn't in it, and I usually keep them separate, except when it's being stored, then I store it inside. I basically followed the directions that come in the chart, and I was able to pick up the everything that I needed at Hobby Lobby, and I was able to finish it last year. So all of the supplies are still available at Hobby Lobby. And here's my stitch piece. And this is so cute. It was my second drum that I ever made, and I think it turned out pretty darn good for my second drum, especially when you see the first drum that I did. So I picked this part of it up as a kit from Country Sampler. It is the one that is in Spring Green, Wisconsin. I picked it up as a kit, so it came with a piece of, I think, 32 count Murky by Pictureless Plus, and then the called for threads. And I did stitch it 2/2. And the beads that you see here, I had some that my grandma had given me, and they were, I basically looked at the picture on the chart, looked at the color of the beads, looked up what the called for was, and I just kind of matched it. So I guess technically they're antique beads, but they were perfect. I love how it turned out so very much. And again, I got the kit from Country Sampler, and then the kit has you pick up your hat pieces from Hobby Lobby, and I did it last year, and as far as last year, Hobby Lobby still carried everything, even the ribbon for the hat. And then this one was my very first drum that I ever made, so there are some major construction issues, but this is Happy Birthday America, I'm pretty sure. It was the only one I didn't look up before I did the video, but I'm pretty sure it was Happy Birthday America by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I really do love it. So when you bought the chart, you got this with it. And I did not buy this as a kit, but I bought this from a shop in Arkansas, Stitcher's Garden, I think it was, and they had these pieces, and that's where I was able to pick it up from, as well as the trim, I think. But I stitched it, as far as I know, I stitched it with the called for threads, and I did it 2/2, and it would have been whatever the called for was. But I absolutely love it. Again, I know that it is not perfect, but it was a good learning lesson for me because then I was able to kind of take the knowledge of that one and work on this one. So I learn, every time I do a finish, no matter what it is, I learn a little bit more each time. All right, so last is Ye Old Trench Bowl, which I'm never gonna get it to look like this again. I am definitely not good at arranging the trench bowl. I'm hoping that I will get better as the years go by. So first up is this little guy. This is called Old Glory, and this is a chart that was done by Christy of Daisy K's Primitives, and she has it available in her Etsy shop. And stitching this was the most fun I've had in a long time stitching a little small. It was just an absolute blast. I do not remember what I stitched it on, and I'm pretty positive I used DMC, but I don't remember if it was the called for. I feel like it was. Then I just finished it into this little pillow, and I added some little rusty crusty safety pins, and I absolutely love it. I was really excited to have this one out again, but it is available on her Etsy shop, and I'll put a link to it down below. Next is Land of the Free by Blackbird Designs. This was a chart that was in a cross stitch magazine. The chart was sent to me, and then when I finished it, I was able to pass it along. And I do not remember what I stitched it on. I worked on this one back in 2020, and I used a variety of floss because from what I remember, there were some silks that were called for, and I just used what was in my stash at the time. And I believe it is 32 count, and it looks like I stitched it 2/2. A lot of fun. Hopefully it'll be one that Blackbird decides to re-release at some point. This one is also by Blackbird Designs, and it is called In Full Glory. And I stitched this one also, I believe, in 2020. It definitely was in the last couple of years. I think I stitched it on a piece of Confederate gray. I used some of the called for, some of the not called for floss, and I stitched it 2/2. And I love it so very, very much. You can find this one in one of the books that came out. I don't remember if it came out last year or the year before. There's another one in there. It's got a white house and it says America down the side, and that's one that I would like to stitch soon. But when I finish it, I'm going to put it into a frame because I absolutely love it. I meant to work on it this year. I have it all kitted up and ready to go. I just didn't get to it this year. Right. And this little one was stitched for me, but it does come out of the book Red, White, and Bloom by With Thy Needle and Thread. I want to say it's called Lady Liberty, but I don't think that's right. But it was stitched for me, and I absolutely love it, and it looks amazing in the trench bowl. And then last but not least, which I've shown this one several times, but you know, it's red, white, and blue. It kind of goes with a bunch of different holidays. And this one is, I think it's Quarantine Stitch or Stitch Quarantine or something like that, but it is also by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. And I worked on this one, I want to say last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. And I've had it in the trench bowl on and off since I have finished it. I have a little rusty crusty pin and then some of my grandma's antique buttons in red, white, and blue. I love it, love it, love it. So that is what is in the trench that cross-stitching wise. I also have one of the primitive strawberries that I purchased from Under the Woolen Willow. I have like 3 or 4 of these all over the house. I just love them. And then I was gifted this beautiful strawberry, which is perfect for the trench bowl. And there was an Etsy shop where I purchased these last year, and they're just little firecrackers, and I just love them. I was really excited when I was decorating the trench bowl, and I could have it out because I felt like last year it came right before the 4th of July, and then I had to put it all away. But this is what it looks like, a little wonky now that I've disturbed everything, but a lot of fun. Okay, so one other finish that I had was a pincushion finish. And if you followed me on Instagram and Facebook, you probably already saw this. And thank you for all of your wonderful comments. It was a blast to make it. But in my last video, I mentioned that Artie, who is the vintage stitcher here on Flosstube, was gathering up some of her Flosstube friends to do a pincushion challenge, and she's calling it the hashtag Pincushion Challenge 2022. And I think in my last video I left off the year when I was talking about it, but it is the Pincushion Challenge 2022. Some of the other Flosstubers that are participating in it are Janet Jabber, Annie the Proper Stitcher, Christopher of Chris Cross Stitches, Artie, and then myself. And in my last video I showed some of my vintage tomato pin cushions, And it's been a lot of fun to kind of like think about pincushions because it's not something that I typically think about. But I started doing like some research on Pinterest, and I found a lot of really cool ones that would be kind of fun to make at some point. And even though they might have to hang out in a drawer for a little while, eventually I hope that I will have my own little sewing room and I'll be able to display them all. So I might as well start working on them now. But it's been a lot of fun. The one other pincushion that I showed that I have the kit, I didn't get a chance to put it together, but over these next 2 weeks I will. But the one that I did make, minus the pins because I don't have any, is this. So hopefully it's showing up pretty well. So you might remember the crows. I did those a couple of weeks back, and I have a couple of them. I have one right here and one right here. And this is the third one, and I decided to, I've always kind of had this vision in my head of a stack of pumpkins with a crow on top. And when Artie had said something about the pincushion challenge, and I thought, you know, that would be really cool to sort of make and have it, you know, be as a pincushion. So this is what I made, and of course I did it rusty crusty, as I love. It's all painted and, you know, coffee stained and all of that. But I really, really love it, and I'm hoping that I will be able to find some antique pincushions that have, you know, also that kind of like rusty crusty look to them. But I really, really love how it turned out. A lot of you guys said I should leave it out year round. I am very tempted because I just absolutely love it. And even more of you guys said that if I were to make it and sell it in my Etsy shop, you would buy it. And I had already been thinking about that when I was making it. So I would just, I'll let you know, but I am planning on adding some of these to my Etsy shop. I just have to go get some more supplies because I'm out. So, and to make him, I used 2 different patterns. The first pattern I used was this. It's called Primitive Grungy Porch Pumpkins, and it's by Prims by Denise or Peach Bottom Primitives on Etsy. I basically used like these 2 right here to make mine. And then these are the crows I used. These are Primitive Crows on a Stick crock filler. So that is the crow pattern that I used, and then the pattern that I used for the other 2 crows. So really, really easy to do. It's not hard at all. So if you are worried that like skill level, it's way above, it's not. It's really, really easy. The directions are very easy and simple to follow. And if you have a sewing machine, paint, fiber fill, you have everything you need. But it was a lot of fun to make. And again, thank you so much to Artie for inviting me to participate. It's been a lot of fun. And I definitely know that making some of these smaller pincushions, I definitely will be more open to do it in the future, because even though right now I'm like, well, I don't have any place to put them all, I imagine I could probably find little areas to put them out. So it was a lot of fun. And definitely go check out the other floss tubers that are participating. All of their videos are absolutely wonderful. As far as all of like the show and tell and previous finishes and all of that go for cross stitching, that is all I have to show. But before all of my cross stitching friends leave, I did get a little bit of a happy mail, and I want to show it to you because it will be giveaways. And so I definitely don't want you guys to leave before you see it. I was contacted by someone a couple of weeks ago that they were really upset that they had missed the giveaway part because I had done it after I showed Happy Mail and they had already left. So I definitely want to make sure my cross-stitching friends that you know, you're seeing the giveaway, and that way you'll have a chance to enter to win. I spend a lot of time trying to figure out, you know, making sure that things are like in their appropriate places, because I know a lot of times, you know, depending on what your hobbies are and things like that, you might not like to see certain elements of the video. And so I try to be a little considerate about saying, hey, you know, Happy Mail is going to show, and if you don't want to see that, it's a great stopping off point. But then I realized that my cross-stitching friends don't get to see what the cross-stitching giveaway is. So definitely just sit tight. It's just a tiny little bit of Happy Mail, and then it'll be giveaways. So the Fat Quarter Shop sent me some items that are available now in their website, and I will put a link to the Fat Quarter Shop's website down below. The first item is a Bee in My Bonnet bee needle minder, which is very, very cute. So cute. A cross-stitch chart that was in the Stitch Quarterly in the spring edition, and that is called Tea Time, which was so cute. Very, very cute. And then a Christmas cross-stitch chart called Sleigh Ride by It's So Emma. And this is so cute. Cute, cute. The Fat Quarter Shop also sent me the new Stitch Quarterly, which I always call it a club. It comes out 4 times a year. It's definitely seasonally, it's like a seasonal kitted project. So that arrived in the mail as well, and it is summer themed. So this is called Citrus Summer, and this is what it looks like. Reminds me of a very warm, warm summer day. So cute. The kit comes with a hoop. It comes with the DMC to stitch it. It comes with the, it's called Curved Title Ada. So it's got like it's like a stamped Ada. It has the needle minder, which I apologize that it's kind of blowing out. The sun, I saw the sun kind of poke out behind a cloud. And then it also comes with the needle to stitch it, as well as a cute project bag that's got a lemon. So very, very cute. So today's giveaway is the entire kit of the Stitch Quarterly. So I definitely did not want my cross-stitching friends to leave. So if you are interested in winning this, you just have to stay tuned for just a second because I have to announce the winner from last video. So in my last video, I had a giveaway for the May Trucking Along kit that was very generously donated. And I enjoyed reading through everybody's comments. The question was, what is your favorite ice cream? And reading through the comments made me very, very hungry. But I enjoyed reading through all of them, and thank you to everybody who played. So the winner is Michelle E, and it's spelled M-I-C-H-E-L and then E. And I apologize if I've mispronounced it, but I think it's Michelle E. So if you can get a hold of me via email, I will put all my information down below on how you can contact me and send me your address. I will get this out in the mail to you as soon as possible. Now, for this video's giveaway, it is for the entire Stitch Quarterly kit. And if you are interested in winning it, the first thing that you need to make sure you do is click the like button. Make sure that you're a subscriber and answer this question down below. Because we are pretty much into summer now, I mean, technically we still have a few days left to go, but because it is the summer season and potluck season will be here once again, what is your favorite potluck dish to take to a summer get-together? My favorite is homemade potato salad. And in fact, I made my first batch of the season last weekend. I attended a family function. There were 4 of my little cousins graduating high school. And so we had a get together in this, it was a beautiful place. I mean, it was very quiet, wooded. It was really, really lovely. And it was so fun to see all of the family. I haven't seen a lot of them since Allison's graduation in 2019. And I did see a few of them at a baby shower I went to a few weeks ago, but it was really nice to see like the whole family, and it was a good time. And my grandma went, and I was able to see my cousin who lives down in Texas because his daughter was one of the cousins graduating, and it was just really good to see them all again. And hopefully we'll have more get-togethers because I know we were talking about doing that again. So I took potato salad. It was a huge hit, and I was worried because there was a lot of potato salad there. And I'm happy to say that I took home an empty bowl. So I like to take potato salad to get-togethers. So what is your favorite go-to potluck dish to take to a summer gathering? Let me know down below. And on my next video, I will pick a winner. And thank you so much for playing. Now, as far as all of the cross stitching goes, that is all I have to show and share in this video. I'm going to start talking about quilts next. So if that's not something you're interested in seeing, this is a great stopping off point, and I will be back in 2 weeks. All right, let's talk about quilts. So I had to pause just really briefly, go get a drink of water and take a Tylenol. We're supposed to have thunder showers here today. And I noticed like in the last 20 minutes, as some of these darker clouds have passed over, that I've started to get like a headache. And I definitely can feel pressure in the atmosphere. I can feel it like in my jaw. So I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but I definitely had to pause so I could go take something. But I'm back. Okay, so what have I been working on quilting wise over the past couple of weeks? Well, a lot. I feel like, so my cross stitching, I always pretty much keep everything kind of organized, like when I'm going to work on it and things like that. But when it comes to quilting, there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. All right, let's start off with my block Bonanza quilt. So this is the block of the month that I'm doing through Homestead Hearth. I just received my June block in the mail, but thankfully I have finished May by the skin of my chinny chin chin. The entire quilt is done out of Joe Morton's line called Rose, and it is absolutely the most beautiful fabric line ever. So there were 4 blocks. This is one of them. So this basically was number 1. This one is number 2. I think it goes like this. Number 2. Number 3, and number 4. And they typically send about 4 blocks a month. It's supposed to go per week. And when I kind of tallied up how many blocks were remaining, I think there's a couple of months where there will have to be 2 in order to finish by December. So I'm wondering if it's going to go into January. It was originally supposed to start in December, but like everything else, fabric was kind of slow to arrive. I think a lot of it was kind of stuck overseas, and there was like some issues with the supply chain. And by the time it finally came in, I think it was like the end of January. So I know it was a 12-month program, so it's either going to end in December or January. But I cannot wait to have the quilt done. I think it's going to be a really pretty quilt when it's finished. So I had received a call from Karen at the Speckled Hen, and I had ordered this book, Simple Whatnots 3 by Kim Deal. And these are usually, at one point they were a club, and I think the Simple Whatnots club still is going on, but this is like previous club pieces. So this book just released at the beginning of May, I think, or the middle of May. And Kim Deal announced on Instagram that she was going to be doing a stitch along, and it started last week, I think, June 5th. It started on June 5th, I'm pretty sure. It's really hard to keep track of the days. I'm pretty positive it was June 5th. And I am actually behind. I haven't done any of the clues that released this week. And I'm hoping to get to that this weekend, but this is what I have done so far. So this is going to be the middle. So the very first clue when it came out had you make the flying geese, and then the next clue had you making the half square triangles that went around the flying geese, and then it had the middle. And all of these are Civil War reproduction fabrics. And the 2 clues that released this week, one of them is stars and the other one is pinwheels. And so I'm assuming they're going to ring around it. So I'm hoping to get those done this weekend so that way on Monday when she releases the next clue, I'm all caught up. I didn't mean to fall behind, but sometimes it just happens. I just had some other stuff. Well, I was working on project bags, so I was working on that, and then I wanted to get my block Bonanza blocks done, and there were some other things I was working on, and I just kind of ran out of time. So another project that I started was to make a bunch of Patchwork Stars. And so all of these stars I've made but three. Three of them were sent to me by my friends, and then I sent them each a block as well. So I can take credit for some of them, but I can't take credit for three of them. So this is one that I made, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you all of them. And there is quite a stack because I have been kind of busy working on them in my free time. I am a little bit late to putting the quilt together. Both of my friends already have their quilt done. And I was thinking I only needed to make like 30 blocks, but I need to make 90 something. I think like 99, 96 or something like that. So I got a ways to go. So I've basically been just going in and I'll pull, I made 5 blocks. So over the weekend, I will go into my stash and I will pull 5 more blocks and I will cut everything out. And then through the week, I will piece them together. So eventually, I will have all of the blocks that I need. But they're so much fun. I love them. So I started off using the star block out of one of Lori Holt's books. And then I found one, a pattern that it finishes exactly the same way, but I could just print it off and just keep it out without having to refer back and forth to the book. So that is what I have been using, but they both turned out to be the exact same size. I know sometimes when you switch patterns, sometimes the blocks don't finish at the correct size, but these ones did, thank goodness. And I basically will continue working on them until I have the entire quilt finished. But I do have some finishes to share. So this one is a brand new finish, and it is called Coffee Beans by Carol Hopkins. And I showed this one in my last video. I think I just had a couple of the churn dash blocks completed. And here is the whole quilt. So it just is a little mini quilt. So it'll go on this table that is in front of me. I did it all out of Civil War reproduction. I was able to pull the majority from my stash, but I did pick up some from my local quilt shop when I was there last fall. And I love it. It's so cute. So cute. And I used the same border the border fabric is the backing fabric. But I loved it. And when I quilted it, I just did it in sort of like a ribbon motif. And I really, really love it. It's funny how sometimes I don't intend for things to turn out fallish, but it definitely does. So you can always tell that my brain is always thinking about and creating fall pieces. So I have some larger quilts to show, so I will be standing up to show those. The one that I'm going to show you right now, I do not know the name of it. I know it came out of a McCall's Quilting magazine back in the late 2000s, but I do not remember. I don't remember if the pattern, the magazine came out seasonally or if it was one that came out every month. I didn't keep it. I think I passed it along to a friend because there was a quilt pattern in there that she wanted to make, and I honestly do not remember. So before I show you this quilt, I need to tell you that I did it kind of early on when I was still kind of a newbie quilter, and all of the points are cut off. I just didn't know enough about quilting to pay attention to those. And by the time I did learn, you know, obviously it was too late, the quilt was already made. It's not perfect, but I love it. I actually did it as a tribute to Gettysburg. It is done all out of Civil War reproduction. I remember I used to live in Independence, Oregon, and there was a quilt shop there called Ladies of Liberty, and she had a lot of Civil War reproduction fabric. And I remember going in there with $50 that I had painstakingly saved up, and I kitted it in there. And I remember I spent a little bit more money than I had. And I think she must have like overheard me or something, telling my grandma I only had $50. And I thought we were being so careful when we were selecting each piece of fabric and like making sure that I kept everything within my budget. And I went over like $5, which I mean, I would have just, you know, paid it, but she gave me a $5 off coupon. So it makes it even better. So here is the quilt. And I'm sorry there's not really a good way to display it, but I'll try my best. So it's definitely like Americana, red, white, and blue, and I just absolutely love it. Love it, love it. And I'll go ahead and turn it. It basically is one of those quilts, it doesn't matter which way it goes, it all looks the same. The name of the quilt was not Gettysburg. I named it that just because I have wanted to go to Gettysburg National Park, National Battlefield, ever since I was in high school and I studied about it. It's on my bucket list. It's #1 on my bucket list. Most people want to go to tropical destinations. I want to go to Civil War battlefields. So here it is. And if someone recognizes it, you know, please let me know because I would love to know what the name of it is. But again, it's not perfect because I was still learning, but I absolutely love it and I love getting it out every summer to have on display. All right, this next one, I do know the name of it, and it is called Stars and Stripes by Thimble Blossoms. And I worked on this one, I think it was last year or the year before. So it's just all American flags. I think I worked on it last year because I remember going to my quilt shop and getting pieces of red, white, and blue fabric for it. But it's very easy to put together. And it's also the second time I've made this particular quilt. I sold the other one. So I love it. Such a fun quilt. And I will make sure to put a link to the Thimble Blossoms website down below. But I love it. It's all done out of Civil War reproduction in American flags, which I just love. Okay, so this is another one that I do not remember what the name of it was. I want to say it's called Jacob's Ladders, but I do not think that is the correct name. And here it is. So I did it from a jelly roll by Minnick & Simpson many years ago. It was done for the quilt top was finished for the longest time, and I finally just quilted it within the last few years. And it most definitely is not perfect. I remember the directions were not the greatest. But it was still a lot of fun. And like I said, I had had it done for quite a while. And I ended up purchasing the backing fabric from Thousands of Bolts. And I got it from Joann's. I had a gift certificate. I think my dad had given me a gift certificate to Joann's, and I remember going and buying the backing fabric for it and like 5 other quilts because they had just been waiting. But they are so much fun to put out. I really love having like Americana quilts out. I know that I got asked in my last video what the name of the quilt is behind me. That is the Constitution quilt. It is by Primitive Gatherings, and it is still available. It is in a book. I don't remember what the name of the book is, but if you type in the Constitution quilt by Primitive Gatherings, it should pop right up. It was a lot of fun to put together. I absolutely love it. I do know that like Americana 4th of July style quilts are something, or at least the colors are something that I need to also think about making. Right now, all of my quilts are sort of mixed, which I love. I mean, Civil War reproduction fabrics, no matter what they are, they go so well together. So I love having them out anyway. But I do know that it's something that I do need to kind of think about making down the road. I have a couple of ideas of ones that I would like to make too. So, but I'm really enjoying the whole process. I just absolutely love having them around the house, and it's always fun having them out and about. So they will stay out in the house until probably the middle of July, and then that's typically when I kind of change everything, kind of put everything back the way it was for like a month and a half, and then Halloween comes out. Yay! It's not till September, but I mean, I get very excited. Anyway, so yeah, so a lot of great plans. I realize that I have a lot of projects that are just kind of in various stages, but you know, I just kind of get a wild hair and then I just have to do it. All right, well, that brings me to the very end of the video. If you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very, very much. Quilting plans going forward. I would like to get the June Block Bonanza blocks done, just to kind of get them out of the way. I did take a peek at what blocks they were, and one of the blocks is a doozy. I have never seen so many half square triangles in one tiny little 6.5 inch block. It's gonna take forever, but it's a beautiful block. So my hope is to work on those and get them done, and then I would like to work on and hopefully finish month 4 of the Civil War tribute quilt, because I would like to get another one done, because getting another month done is 1 month closer to the final result, and I can't wait. So those are going to be my 2 like projects that I'll be working on. I'm still going to work on the Scrappy Stars. That's what I call them, the Scrappy Star blocks, but I'm hoping to, at least between now and the next time we meet, I'm hoping to get 10 more done. And then, of course, I will continue working on the Simple Whatnots Mystery Stitch Along, which is free to join. I do think you do need the book for like some of the directions and things like that. I actually haven't really needed the book yet, just because some of the elements they have you make, it's, you know, if you're a experienced quilter, it's really easy to do and figure out. But I would say get the book, just because Kim Deal, her books are amazing, and the book is packed full of a lot of great projects that I do want to do. Her books never disappoint. So anyway, I basically will continue working on all of that and have all of that to show you in my next video, which will be at the beginning of July. I cannot believe it. It's crazy to me that it's going to be July the next time I do a video. So, but anyway, if you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very, very much. If I have forgotten anything, please let me know down below. But I will do my best to put all of the information, everything that I've shown, all of that in the description box down below. And if you do happen to recognize those 2 quilt patterns and you happen to know what the names of them are, please let me know, because I did not keep track of any of that stuff back then. I basically only really started keeping track in the last couple of years. I honestly, well, when I made that, the Gettysburg quilt, I wasn't even on social media. We didn't even have a cell phone. We had a landline only. I don't even know that there was a time where we didn't even do internet or any of that stuff. And so, I mean, I wouldn't even have known that was, you know, that anybody would want to see anything that I made or anything. It just never even dawned on me. All right, so Freddie is going to help me say goodbye to you guys today. I hope you have a great couple of weeks until we meet again. If you would like to see what I am up to in between my videos, you can follow me on Instagram. I am Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I do have a Facebook page which is called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put a link to all of that down below, as well as my email and all the ways that you can get in touch with me if you need to. I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks, that you get a lot of stitching and sewing done, and I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye. Say bye. Bye-bye.